Hello, hello, guys, gals, and non binary pals. Welcome to the UndeadGamingCast, episode 16. Joined, of course, with our second host, Mr. SingularityJosh. How you doing, brother?
Howdy, howdy, howdy. I'm poorly, but we are here and we're going to chat some stuff and I'm going to feel better once we've had a chat. It's always the way. Let's go.
We will absolutely do our best
There
to
was
cheer you
Pippa's
up.
face briefly in the blur out there, by the
An
way.
unexpected guest appearance,
An
as it were.
unexpected apparition.
Absolutely.
A wild Pippa appears.
So unfortunately, it's just two of us today. But no fear, no fear. It'll still be a good show, right? For those of you joining us, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. For the first timers here, let me give you a rundown, a rundown of what we do on the show here. So we usually start the show by talking about what we've been playing, what we've been up to this month in video games, and then we move swiftly on to the news topic or news topics of the month before moving swiftly on to self-promotion. So, without further ado, SingularityJosh, what have you been playing this month?
Good question, Rob. What have I been playing this month? Sorry, my brain's all muddled. So yeah, we've obviously played Sea of Thieves, channel staple on your channel all the time, playing that good enough. I was playing Shadow of Mordor again.
Oh,
There we go.
okay.
Uh, so basically, what happened was that I think I already the Shadow of War. Like I had Shadow of War already, but had never really played it.
Yeah.
And then all the DLC, literally all the DLC was on sale for like £3 or something. And then the same was true with Shadow of Mordor. And I was like, well, I don't want to play Shadow of War, having basically forgotten how Shadow of Mordor ended. Like I knew, or I know who the Elven Smith is and stuff. I remembered all that, but the actual rest of the plot, I was just like, oh. So yeah, I started playing Shadow of Mordor again. I've been playing some Back for Blood. That's kind of fun. Full release of that. I never played the beta like you had, but it was fun.
Awesome.
What else have I been playing? Oh, here's one. Here's one that'll make you smile, Rob. I've been playing a little bit of The Witcher 3 this week.
Oh, my word. Okay, well, we'll get onto that in a minute, right? I just want to go back to Shadow of Mordor, right?
Oh,
Because I really enjoyed that game. That was a game many years ago. I was actually let's playing on my YouTube channel when I got it when I first got my PlayStation 4. I never completed it. I never finished it, and I'll be honest. I kind of got a little bit burnt out on it, honestly. And I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan, right? I fucking
yeah.
love me the Lord of the Rings, right? Um, and as much as I was enjoying the story and everything, and I thought that was really cool, I kind of got a little bit burnt out on it. And bear in mind that game as well came with a lot of really cool new features like the Nemesis system and things like that.
How's Arkham Combat as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Which again, I mean, Arkham Combat is simple, but it does
So satisfying.
yeah,
I
one
love
hundred
it.
percent.
If you gave me literally any adventure style game and put Arkham Combat in it, I'd play the living shit out
Oh
of it.
hell yeah, yes,
I love it. It's
absolutely.
just something just so satisfying and visceral about just being like, well, you just hit Y here and oh look, you did a cool thing. Like it's
Yeah,
fun.
absolutely,
Very
absolutely,
accessible as well, which is fun.
100%. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like I did enjoy it. I just never finished it, and it's something I probably should go back and revisit at some point.
How much of that do you think was down on because obviously before I was on Twitch, I was on YouTube for a little bit. And basically, the reason I made the swap to Twitch was because I found that you'd say play for 2 hours, and then you'd edit a video for four, and then do you know what I mean? So how
Yeah.
much of it was that? Like, how much of it was just your play to play to production ratio? Do you think that's where you got burnt out on it a little bit, maybe, or is it more to do with issues with gameplay?
I think what killed it for me, especially doing a let's play of it, would have been different if I was streaming it. I think, but what killed it for me was the that game's so big, right? And there's lots of things to do in that game.
Sure.
And I kind of did a bit of this and a bit of that and a bit of this, right? So I never, what I should have done, which is kind of what I ended up doing with Horizon Zero Dawn when I was playing that on my Twitch channel, which I didn't enjoy that much. I just sort of stuck to the main storyline and just blitzed that out, did that, and then it was done and off the channel sort of thing, which is probably what I should have done with Shadows of Mordor. However, saying that, there are elements of that game which are really hard to just do, because occasionally you will just run into a dude who's like, I remember you. You didn't kill me. I'm alive. Do you know what I mean? And then there'll be your new nemesis sort of thing.
Oh, bro. I've got one at the moment that I come across that's like, he's like immune to ranged, immune to stealth, immune to combat finishers.
Yeah.
Like has like hatred of losing and like can call allies. And he's a spear and shield fighter. So
Yeah.
you can't vault it. Like I don't understand how you kill him.
Yeah. And the problem is as well, if you don't kill them, they just get stronger. If they kill you, they just get stronger and stronger and stronger. So, yeah, as awesome as that Nemesis system is, I think it's really cool, because any old scrub that you come against, you know, could be your next big bad sort of thing. And it's different for every sort of person that's played the game, right? But it does and can get out of hand pretty fucking quickly if you're not consistent or on it.
Careful, yeah.
But and
discretion is. I learned pretty early in that game that discretion is the better part of valor.
Yeah, and Shadow of War. I mean, I was kind of boycotting that game due to the bullshit Warner Brothers fiasco at the time, and I have not picked that game up still.
Yeah, so the reason I picked it up was because it was cheap. I think actually I got my copy via like humble, like one of those like humble bundle things, and then I went back and bought the DLC because it was on sale. And by the looks of it, it's like all that weird, gritty, nasty microtransactional shit that I'm sure we did a pod about in the day.
Pretty sure we did, yeah.
They gutted all that out, and basically like as a sorry, like basically just gave all the best stuff to like people for free, which is what they should do in the first place.
Fucking surprise, surprise. If I remember rightly, wasn't that the year of actual bullshit with like Shadows of War? I think Battlefront 2 as well. All seem to be around a similar time. Even Arkham Knight as well, I think.
Yeah, a lot of these like. So what happened was that we had the first person shooter epidemic, and then we had the microtransaction epidemic. And then we had the Battle Royale epidemic, and we are currently in the Season Pass epidemic. This is how I sort of like. This is how I internally.
The phases of gaming.
It's how I internally compartmentalize like gaming history as I know it. Yeah.
So we no longer talk about generations of gaming. It's now just the eras of industry bullshit, right?
Yeah. So it's like this one is like Season Pass giving way to games as a service.
Yeah, so no one refers to gaming anymore as like, oh man, remember the PS2 era? No. It's remember the Battle Royale era. Yeah,
but like, to be fair, like, you laugh and joke about it, but in 2012, any new game that was released in the years like between 2009 and 2012 was a first-person shooter.
Mm-hmm.
They stuck shooting on shit that didn't even have shooting in it.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
None of this is a lie.
No, you're not wrong. Fuck.
Find me a game from like 3 years ago or 4 years ago that didn't have a fucking season pass mechanic.
Oh my word.
Still to this day.
Yeah.
None of this is a lie. Everything's got a season pass. Everything. I've been playing the Formula 1 game while my computer was in and out. The Formula 1 game has a battle pass.
Damn it. Get out of here. Get out of here with that, man. Well, there you are. There's that.
Sea of Thieves has a battle pass. Like, a game about pirates has a battle pass. Why? To be fair, I don't mind the plunder pass, to be fair. The plunder pass is actually really good value in Sea of Thieves, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, we can't really talk much because we both have that.
No, but I mean, like, so the thing with the Sea of Thieves battle pass is that it's weighted the right way.
Yeah.
you pay £8 for your premium cosmetics and you get one like every 10 levels. And if you don't want to pay for it, then you basically get everything else anyway. Rather than it be the other way around, which is like you get something for free every 10 levels, and then if you pay the £8, you get everything all the way through. Like, it's like backwards to normal battle passes. It's cool.
So I just want to point out what Britta's just said in the chat. Are battle passes the way to subsidize server maintenance? I mean, maybe that's their excuse, but I don't buy it. I don't buy it. Gaming industry's got enough fucking money. Like, I don't buy it. I don't buy that shit.
There's a lot of games though that like a lot of those like online only games or whatever have got everything now is the problem to subsidize, which is like so like yeah, we'll use Sea of Thieves as the example, which I think in all fairness Sea of Thieves do it in a relatively consumer friendly way, but they have a battle pass which has premium cosmetics in it, and then there is also the pirate emporium, the pirate store that has premium cosmetics that cost real life money. So surely one of these things is subsidizing your service and your maintenance and your crew, as well as it being like a £35 game unless you've gotten it from like Xbox Game Pass or whatever.
Yeah.
But then I'm sure Microsoft subsidize Rare the cost of the people playing on Game Pass, or they signed it for such ridiculous money that it was never a problem. So I think the problem is that you end up having lots of people like double dipping on like premium microtransactions and currency, and then a battle pass on top of that.
Mm.
But like I think there's some truth in what Bruto has said, but there is a lot of double dipping happening.
Nothing wrong with a double dip, but it depends on the context, right?
Yeah,
So,
sure.
so
sorry, we got really off topic there.
How's Back for Blood?
Really good. I'm really liking it. I just wish that I had more people to play it with. So like I've been playing it with our friend Minty. But like if Minty's not on or doesn't want to play it, then like it's kind of not worth playing, because I don't know if you've seen. It's like it is very anti-single player.
Oh, okay.
Like I don't know if you've seen this going on, where it's like basically if you play single player, like you can't progress certain things, and certain things don't level up, or you get like very, very reduced experience of playing on your own. Like you basically have to play the game.
Wow, that's fucking shitty.
Which is kind of crap.
Yeah.
It's knocking around somewhere, but sorry.
Yeah, that sounds that doesn't sound good whatsoever.
It's not ideal.
It's yeah. Especially for that game obviously came from Left 4 Dead, right?
Yeah.
So for that game to that game which you could play single player and have the AI play with you or whatever, that was very competent and quite easy to just play on your own.
So yeah, this is kind of what I was thinking,
Yeah.
that it was just very much a case of like, sorry, I'm just banning a bot in the chat.
Yeah, that's fine.
There we go. Yeah, and I don't know if that's just one of these like things, kind of touching back on what we were just talking about, like the very much a product of our times thing, where it's like always online and games as a service and all this shit. But like, I don't think it's necessarily the most. I feel like not allowing people to play single player is kind of cutting off your nose to spite your face a little bit.
Yeah.
You can't buy new trade routes without multiplayer, which means you unlock from better cards. There we go. Thanks, Tasha.
Yeah,
well, there's some like aside from
don't
that
get
though,
the rationale behind that.
Yeah, I don't get it either. But like, as far as I've played, it's very fun. It's very fast paced. It's very like, it was really weird. Like, I played a few levels and it didn't feel like Left 4 Dead at all. And then I played some yesterday, and it felt just like Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, but
it's
in a good
really
way,
weird.
or like
in a really good way.
Yeah.
In like, this is like a modern Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
But like, some of the scenarios feel like very like its own thing, and some of them feel like modernized Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but like, there's a bit of a tonal inconsistency. I also realised what you were saying previously about distinctive like shapes and sounds of like special infected. I understand that now as well. There's two that I can't tell the difference between.
Because I think for context, like the last episode, I played the beta and I spoke about the beta. So just for brief context for that.
So yeah, like there's like one that like pukes up on you, and I think there's one that like explodes or something. And they're like two different infected. I can't tell the difference between them.
Yeah, yeah. There's two that
There's a few.
look pretty identical.
Yeah, but I mean, a couple of them, I think the designs are very similar and very cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
My only problem is it, and I don't know whether it's like fucking like ADHD learning difficulty brain or whatever, but it's like the sometimes like that red color palette I find really really like jarring.
Mm.
And like a lot of them, like the ones that I can tell apart really easily are the ones that are very different shapes. So like there's like the tall boy, that really long one with the massive arm,
Yeah.
and then there's like a really small one that kind of like jumps around at you, and that's fine. But anything else, I'm just kind of like it kind of messes with my brain. And a lot of the time, the game is like very dark and very foggy and like very difficult to see through.
Yeah.
And all you're really seeing is like flashes of red, and my brain's just like.
Yeah, and again, that's that kind of what I was getting to, and that's what you obviously have experienced as well, is that having those very distinct silhouettes or shapes, and those noises, those very distinct like jingles or musical melodies or whatever it is that differentiate. Oh fuck! There's a boom around the corner, or there's a hunter that's nearby, or whatever it is. And you're prepared. And it's not to say that they can't still jump the shit out of you and take you unawares and whatnot. But it kind of it's a good like, I don't know, FYI for the player to know what to expect or how to deal with.
Yeah. The way that I deal with my brain not being able to cope with like the visual input that I get, is that I have the like all the subtitles on.
Yeah.
So it's like shrieker noise.
Yeah.
Whatever boomer noise, and then like I know kind of what roughly what it is.
Yeah.
And then if I see it and it's big, I shoot the living shit out of it, and then it dies, and it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I do need to get on that game, and I would like to play more of it. I would like to experience more than what the beta had, because I do think that it's it's starting off in a very good way, and I do want to see where this game sort of goes, because I fucking love Left 4 Dead. It's proper one of the games that really got me into gaming. Funnily enough, it's a I don't know, there's a lot of nostalgia for me with Left 4 Dead. I just fucking love that game and that series.
I think a lot of people our age have a very, very like fond and nostalgic view of Left 4 Dead specifically.
Yeah.
So I think that's fine.
Yeah, awesome. So, Josh, The Witcher 3.
Yeah.
Explain.
So, like, what happened basically is that you know how my brain works, right?
Yeah.
And I'll explain this for everybody in chat just so they also know. The way that my brain works is that like once I get a hook into a thing, or once I start thinking about a specific thing, I just have to pull the thread until my brain lets me let it go. Okay? So like Warhammer, I'll watch like hours of like battle reps and paint videos and read all the books and watch the TV and paint my own models and all that stuff. It's just like all consuming all the time. All I'm doing is like in my spare time is like fixating on like one specific thing. And so what happened is that like I finished my book while I was at your house. Is what happened. So I finished my book, and then I was like, okay, cool. What have I got to read? Because I don't really fancy reading another whatever I was reading. I was like reading an episodic thing. And I was like, I don't really fancy reading another one of those. What do I have on like my iPad, which is like my Kindle for what I go to bed with? And I was like, oh, I've got like all of the Witcher books as like a set, and like I've been staring at like Geralt's face all day because like he's like fucking everywhere in your living room. You've got like 2 different statues in a park, and, everywhere I went, like I couldn't look around without seeing
something Witcher related.
Geralt's face, basically.
Yeah.
I think even like in the room that me and Pippa stayed in, there was like a Witcher, like one of your Witcher RPG books.
Yep.
There was like I think you had like your little wolf's head, like Witcher school emblem thing, like on your desk.
Yeah.
Like, so I was like, okay, all right, I'll start reading the Atomic Contempt. So I started reading the Atomic Contempt, Yeah, there you
My
go.
little bear medallion.
It's a little bear medallion.
Yeah.
So yeah, I started reading like Time Contempt, and then I was like, okay, like I'm not super well at the moment, but I need something that I can just kind of dick around, dick around on or whatever. And then I was like, I'll just start The Witcher 3 again. We'll see where we get. I've literally just killed the Noon Wraith for like the 47th time or something in my life. Like we'll see, because what normally happens when I start playing The Witcher is that I play the first 90 minutes. It's a little bit of a Diablo 3, where I've played the first 90 minutes of Diablo 3 about 7 times now.
Yeah.
For one reason or another, and just never got around to it. So we'll see. We'll see if I stick at it. Because like I went to just go and like bum rush the main quest and go speak to Guardians or whatever, and then I was like, no, you need to do the monster hunter thing. And I was like, okay then. So I went and did it. Yeah, it's kind of as I remember. We'll see if I stick at it this time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
join us next month.
So my problem with The Witcher 3 has never actually been The Witcher, as it were.
Yeah.
Like I've read the books and blah blah blah. Like I liked the property. Like I think it's a cool idea. It's just always been that I've found The Witcher 3 a bit clunky and a bit like annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Like especially like the horse and things like that just won't go where I want it to go, and he's like prone to glitching out. You know, you do like that you do the tavern scene right at the start where all those like weirdos like start on you for being a Witcher.
Yeah.
Like it shot me out of the window, like so I was like you could see them there framing, and I could see out the window past it, and my horse was at like a fucking 75-degree angle, like his front hooves was like I was like, just as I remember, I see.
Roach just being Roach, yo.
Just Roach doing Roach shit. But yeah, so that's kind of that. And then finally, I'll just touch on it quickly. Not really a game. But I picked up Dungeon Draft. And have been building custom maps from the ground up for my D&D game.
So isn't that a premium thing?
It's 20 quid for like the software. And like all the assets in it are like come with it, and there's a bunch of assets that are like packs that are free.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's it. So but it's very very intuitive. It's very easy to use, and even like my first baby's test crap map still looks actually really good. And then the map that I spent 2 days doing, if I do say so myself, looks pretty damn cool.
Is that the one you sent me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looks great. That's really good.
And then like I exported it and like selected Roll20 as the option for the export, and set like my tiles from like the pixels for the tiles or whatever to make the tokens line up.
Yeah.
And I literally took the dimensions of the picture, put those into Roll20, and then pasted the picture in and just dragged it to fit, and it was absolutely perfect. Just went straight in.
Awesome.
No twatting about, no messing, no faffing, straight in.
So pretty seamless, like easy to use and easy to implement.
Yeah, so for like 20 quid,
that's pretty good.
Truly can't go wrong with it. If you're like looking for a map making tool that's very very intuitive, can't go wrong with it. Looks great, feels great.
Awesome.
Right, what about you then, Rob? Tell me.
Yeah, so obviously, as per usual, a lot of Sea of Thieves we've been playing, of course. When do we not? But also, obviously, because it's been October, spooky month, we have been doing a lot of community spooky games on the channel, which have been really fun. We played a lot of Phasmophobia, which has been good.
That's just had an update, by the way.
Yeah. Someone
like
in my
campsite or something.
Yeah, someone in the Discord mentioned that. Which is there's a little campsite map now.
Apparently, that has a new ghost type as well.
I think apparently there's 4.
Ooh, fun.
So we will definitely need to get on that. And play, absolutely. And we've also been playing. I'm just gonna cut that down.
I was about to say that does not fit on the screen.
Does not fit on the screen.
There we go.
There we go. So Phasma. I mean, we played recently Dead by Daylight as well. So I mean, I'll talk about Phasmo first. Obviously, it's been out for ages, but and we played it earlier in the year, but obviously we've been playing it a lot more. That game's just a ton of fun. I think it's just a ton of fun. there's something about that game that's sort of so simple, but just gets you working together, which I think's really nice. It's almost like playing a cooperative board game
Yeah,
to
a
a
little bit.
degree. And I really like that feel of that game in that sense.
I just
Um,
really like that game, honestly.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. There's just something about it. It's just so fun, and it's genuinely scary as well. It's genuinely tense as well. And we're not just talking about like bullshit jump scares or anything like that. There's so much to that game that I think is done so well. Um, and especially playing with friends, it's just yeah, it's just a great time. It's just great fun. Um, yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. To be honest, I think that's all that needs to be said.
It's
Um,
so good though.
yeah,
Like yeah, this I also think that like it certainly fulfills, like a lot of games are like, what I'm going to say is going to sound harsh, but it's not quite what I mean. I'll explain by it properly. But like, are like one dimensional in their gameplay.
yeah,
Like you know exactly what you like when you play The Witcher. You know exactly what you're getting out of that game.
yeah,
Not
yeah,
to say that that game doesn't have complex systems in place, but you know exactly what you're getting.
yeah,
But I think that Dead by Daylight does a really good job of playing two-dimensionally. Like the Survivor game is incredibly different to the
yeah,
Killer game,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
even though they're the same game. They feel and play 100% differently.
yeah.
Like and like even down to I think like even different killers as well play like chalk and cheese.
Yeah. There's different strategies to a lot of things in that game. In fairness, yeah. So we've played Dead by Daylight recently on the channel as well with the community, which was real fun. It's the first proper time I've played Dead by Daylight because we played it again earlier in the year, but we
Yeah, we
we
played like literally like two games of it, and then we were
yeah,
like, and then I think like it was something to do with like you were like changing PC, and then you were like moving, and it was like
yeah.
trying to get
So
yourself organized, and then it was like yeah, we just kind of never picked it up again.
yeah, and it was just the two of us as well. I think last time, or maybe Burrito was with us as well. But either way, this time we played with the community. So we played with people that we know, played with friends and whatnot, and it was just such a different game as well. Being able to sort of really communicate with people again is just really good, especially for the Survivor game. And also, it was the first time I played as the killer as well, which we took in turns and stuff, and it was really fun. And yeah, it's just a really fun time, just a really fun time. And just having us all on Discord, chatting away, and knowing one of us is the killer and whatnot, and just I don't know, it's just a real good time.
Yeah, Rob's the guy that turns up with a bazooka to a knife fight. By the way, we learned that the other day on the stream. We were like, "Cool, don't put Memento Mori on because that's mad sweaty." My guy's first game is both games as the killer rocks it with Memento Mori on. I'm like,
I didn't realize I didn't it didn't click to me that was just like a bad sportsmanship.
I
So
mean, it's not bad sportsmanship if you're trying to win.
I mean, yeah, it's true. It's true. But we had some really funny sweaty times on that. That first game where you managed to unhook yourself and nearly won because of it.
And that, to be fair, though, I redeemed myself in like was it the last game where I
Yeah.
like got somebody off the hook and then ran to the thing and then I got down and had to crawl over the finish line.
Yeah, so I don't know. We've been having a ton of fun this month with the spooky games, which has been real great, and it's certainly something I'm going to look to continue doing with the community, whether it's spooky games or other things that we can do, because it's just a fun time. It's just a real fun time. So yeah, other than that, other than Phasmo and Dead by Daylight, again spooky season. Wanted to play a solo spooky game. And this month I started playing Alien Isolation, which I'm definitely not going to finish by the end of the month, sadly. But it's fine. We will continue playing it. And that is Alien Isolation, which I'm picking up and playing for the first time. And man, that game is good.
Oh man! So like as previously stated, once my brain gets my hooks into a thing, it just won't let go. So I've done like a lot of like research into Alien. basically Alien as like a franchise. Like I've read like novels, and obviously I've got like the TTRPG is fully one of the best TTRPGs I've ever played.
It's really
hands
good.
down.
We need to play it again, please.
Yes, we do. Well, somebody fucking organise a group and organise a date, and I'll run it for you. No drama. I'll play it. Love that game. It's brilliant. But so, Alien Isolation is so perfect as a piece of like alien like
Media?
media.
Art?
Yeah, like even down to like like stuff like the in-game history of like Seegson, and then like having like Apollo as the working AI on like a Seegson station, and then having like working Joes instead of Davids, and having the working Joes being the bad guys because they were prone to like um malfunctioning and stuff. Like all of that stuff just like canonically lines up beautifully. They did a great job
Just fits the lore.
there.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then also on top of that, the game feels like the first Alien film.
Yeah.
Horrifying. I hate
Yeah.
it. I hate it.
It's just done so well. I mean, I think Alien is one of the best films that's ever been made, right?
Correct.
One of the best sort of horror films, one of the best sci-fi films ever made.
One of the best films.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah, 100%. And it's a lot of it's to do with just the atmosphere, right? Of that, and the game captures that so perfectly from the film. And it just captures it so perfectly. Like you're right, it just feels like you're straight up in the film. And yeah, just atmosphere, the tension that's in it, even the look of it as well, because obviously it's that kind of like 70s 80s sci-fi, modern world, but we're still using like tape decks and whatnot and stuff like that.
I can nerd out for a second and give you a canonical reason why that looks the way that it looks.
Go for it.
It's because all of that stuff, all of those like old green screen like TVs and like the VCR almost like style stuff, it was less prone to breaking because it was just like it was simpler simpler circuits and things. So that's the reason that they use like that like big old fashioned like green on black on green stuff. Like so that's the canonical reason that Alien looks the way it does. Which is kind of like nicely retconned because obviously the technology at the time meant it had to look like that.
Yeah.
But it's actually really nice how clever that they've worked that in.
Yeah.
And that was the thing that I didn't much like about Covenant. Was that Covenant's not a bad film.
Not seen it, unfortunately. I need to see it.
It's not a bad movie, but it just doesn't look like an Alien film. Because it's like they've got like big, beautiful, like hollow deck displays, and like it doesn't look like an Alien film. Aside from that, it's not actually a bad movie.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just got the right amount of tension and works beautifully as a sort of survival horror type game. And the story is really good as well. It doesn't feel like a cheap cash in on the franchise. It really fits its or almost like earns its place among the Alien franchise and the canon, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? It feels right. It feels like it deserves its place amongst those films and that sort of thing.
Yeah, because I mean, we had a very good example of when an Alien franchise game went horribly wrong.
Yep. Yes,
so
we did.
Like actually, it's
Gearboxes,
nice to have.
Yep. Was it Colonial Marines or something? It was called.
Colonial Marines, yeah.
From Gearbox, yeah, that was trash.
They've released a new game that's like a Colonial Marines style game, and from the looks of it, it actually doesn't look that bad.
Yeah, I've seen that as well. So hopefully it will do better than the last one, because Lord knows,
Let's be honest, you can't do worse than the last one.
Yeah, this is true. I mean, Lord knows an Aliens Colonial Marine style game could be very, very good. Very, very good. But, yeah, I mean, I forget who made Alien Isolation, but it would be wonderful to see them make more Alien-style games, if possible, in the future. But also, just playing it as well, it's funny how many things that as a gamer and strictly just speaking about games, that Alien Isolation harkens back to. Which, in of itself, those games that it harkens back to harken back to inspiration from Alien, right? So, we're talking things like Dead Space. Of course, that's inspired by Alien.
I think you go further. I think you even
Bioshock.
go, I think you even go further. I would say that something like Resident Evil, I don't know, that game feels very Resident Evil to me. You need typewriter and typewriter ink to save. You can save the phones or whatever they are in that game. Just to go back on a point quickly. Creative Assembly, Feral Interactive.
Cool. Yeah.
Just to give the shout outs to the devs.
Absolutely. But yeah, it's funny how it almost sort of comes full circle. The games that reminds me of are obviously inspired by Alien. Do you know what I mean? It's just quite funny how that sort of works out. But it's just a fucking fantastic game. And I'm very much looking forward to playing more of it. So that's probably me done, to be honest. So
nice.
I suppose we should move on to our news topic of the episode. Obviously, sticking with the spooky season, sticking with the spooky theme of Halloween, we've got a little topic that's not an overly large topic, probably not an obvious topic that we could talk about, but a nice little topic. Hopefully, we're going to have a bit of a shorter episode today. But we kind of wanted to discuss and talk about Halloween events that we find in video games. And just, sort of run around a few sort of questions around them and discuss them, basically. So, of course, when we're talking about Halloween-style events, usually this is something that used to mostly hit MMOs, right? And massive games like that. Obviously, it's become a little bit more common now with, those games that are season passes and all this, that, and the other with cosmetics and goodness knows what else. So it's become a lot more prevalent, I think, in the gaming industry over the last 10 years, let's say. Whereas before it just wasn't as much. So I mean, I suppose the first question, are they a tacky cash-in, do you think?
Depends on how they're done is kind of the caveat to it. So I think that sometimes they're a tacky cash-in. Sometimes they add breadth and depth to a game. And sometimes they're kind of neither here nor there and serve a purpose to where it's not like it doesn't enrich your gameplay, but it's a good excuse to put cosmetics into a game, but not go so far as to it to just be like tacky and horrible.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I see it. So I think it just depends game to game and how it's handled studio to studio. I think old school RuneScape does the Halloween event really well.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, it's a whole they have like their crappy go to this town and speak to this people and here's a mummy costume or whatever for you to walk around in and a zombie emote. But then they have a tendency to add quests into the game that people can play that are like hunting monsters or like haunted houses or things like that. So there's been a couple of those like old school RuneScape ones which are also really good. And then kind of an unpopular opinion is that I think that the Overwatch one is pretty tacky.
Oh, really?
Now,
okay.
So when it first came out, I was like, oh, this is actually pretty, this is kind of neat. Adds something a little bit different, which is kind of like that PvE co-op thing that you don't get in Overwatch normally.
Yeah.
But they've run that same event out without really adding a lot to it for the last 5 or 6 years now. So to the point where I think it's just like beating a dead horse a little bit.
I mean, so like on top of that, like because this is it with their like seasonal events, right? And this isn't just this, it's not just the Halloween event. There's all the seasonal events. Yeah, it's the same sort of recycled content, right? However, I have noticed because I played the Halloween event last year and I played it this year as well a little bit.
Yeah, I saw. I was watching you play last night.
Yeah. They have added like slightly different modes to it.
All right.
So I do agree with what you're saying. It would be nice to see something a little bit different. I mean, this year they did actually add something very new to the Halloween event, where essentially they added a completely new sort of scenario and story mission to it.
All right, because when I was watching you last night, it was like the god, the
Yeah,
door thing.
yeah. We did the run of the mill last night. But that they add different modes to it. So essentially, they added like a mystery heroes element to it. So you would pick something random, and then every now and then it would like instantly swap you out to a new character,
Sure.
and then you would carry on playing as that. So that was completely randomized and just adds a new level of like nonsense to the event, I suppose. But yeah, like I can certainly see how having the same old tired sort of recycled content can be a little bit frustrating.
It just feels a little bit half-assed.
Yeah. I
Like,
get
and,
that.
I know that the Overwatch team work really hard. I know they do. Like, but like to have when you're a big, like, let's be real, Blizzard Activision, probably the biggest game company in the world. Like, they're not far off it if it's not
Yeah,
100% the
absolutely.
case.
One of the big
So
heavy
you'd have
hitters.
thought that there should be, and like I realised, yeah, fine, they run like WoW and Diablo and whatever else as well. But like Overwatch is one of their big sellers, one of their big like premier like this is a thing that we do. So like I don't know, like I feel
It's one of the
yeah,
most successful sort of new IPs that has come out, not
yeah,
just from them, but like in a while
yeah,
in
for sure.
general.
Like so, I just feel like that you've probably got the resources to do a little bit more than what they're doing.
Yeah, I get that.
So that's kind of why I find it frustrating. The first couple of years, I was like, oh, this is fun, and then the third and fourth years, I was a bit like, okay, I'll play it, I guess. And then like the last 2 years, I've just not bothered.
Yeah, that's fair.
So and then kind of in the middle of that spectrum of kind of like good and bad,
Mm.
trick or treat, is like something like Sea of Thieves, where it's just like kill skeletons and get cosmetics. We'll put a couple of pumpkins around. We're not going to make a big deal of it. Here's some cool spooky cosmetics for you that you may or may not
Yeah, I
use.
mean, I was honestly a little bit surprised by Sea of Thieves. I thought they'd kind of go all in it, but they kind of don't. But it is quite nice and cute to see like pumpkins about on the islands and like bats flying around and that sort of thing. And the cosmetics are cute. I mean, that is definitely what it's been said in the chat as well. That is one of the best things about Halloween events is they usually offer up the best cosmetics.
Yeah, for sure. Like I was saying, like talking about like Overwatch a minute ago, it's like I remember being stoked as fuck to get Witch Mercy.
Yeah,
Like when that was the first cosmetic out there, I think
yeah,
it was like her Junkrat, Roadhog, and like one other person.
yeah. Symmetra.
Was it no? So
Oh,
the
probably
dragon
Reaper.
came
Reaper. It's
later.
probably
It was
is Reaper then.
Reaper.
Yeah,
Symmetra's came later. That
yeah,
dragon
yeah.
skin
You're right.
that came much later. But like I remember being so stoked to have that Witch Mercy skin.
Yeah.
Those skins are really nice. But
So,
yeah,
like what, like off the bat of that, then, like obviously, what you sort of major complaints, as it were, about Overwatch, and we've sort of mentioned about cosmetics. What do you think it is that makes them good, or makes Halloween events good?
I think it's just how tired. Like, I think my major complaint is basically like I hate to use the word lazy developing, but like kind of is what it is, I suppose. Like
Mm,
that's to yeah. Like I feel that if you want to cash in such a way that like you're going to turn a big mega buck on it. Like the Overwatch Halloween stuff is very in your face. You load up the game, it's on the menus, it's in the what's new, it's got its own but like so if you're gonna make it the big blaring light that it
the
is,
appeal of the month, as it were. Yeah.
yeah, you need to do something a little bit more with what you're given and expand on that over time. I think what makes them good is that they either offer a unique gameplay experience, a la the first couple of years that they did it, or it needs to be sort of like fairly like innocuous and not really spoil the rest of the vibe of the game.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I think is why, like, talking about the Sea of Thieves one, is like I'm glad that they don't go balls to the walls for Halloween because I feel that Sea of Thieves has a very very specific vibe that like that would just be spoiled by like pumpkins and sweeties everywhere, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like, what I think is nice is having a little bit of side content, right? A little bit of a, I mean, majority of my experience is from MMOs, right?
Sure.
With especially World of Warcraft, right? With regards to Halloween events, and you had, with all their seasonal events, you've got little side quests and little events that you can do, and this, that, and the other, and it's fun and it's a nice little side thing to do, right? And it's cute and it's this, that, and the other. But the rest of it, I just think I enjoy being able to just do about my normal business, but things are a little bit different. Things look a bit different. You got pumpkins over there, and you got bats flying around, and it's all it makes you feel that the world, that the imaginary world you're playing in is also has got its own seasons.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And it almost makes it relatable. They've got their All Hallows event, or whatever they call it. And even silly little things, right, that you just randomly come against. I remember one year, and this is years ago. It probably still happens. Years ago, I was running around in like Darkshire or Duskshire, whatever that sort of like dark wood area is,
Darkshire,
that's near Goldshire, right?
Yeah.
Just milling about around there. Headless horseman just, runs past me. I'm like, the fuck? It's crazy shit like that. That's just like really fun, I think.
Yeah, I like little things.
Makes
like
things just a bit different. And I think stuff like that makes for good content.
Yeah, but I mean, I very much agree with you, and that's maybe you said it far more eloquently than what I've said. Is that like I like there's like little pumpkins about, and there's like maybe a little something extra to do. Go hunt down zombies, or go, there's a headless horseman that's said to be roaming around this,
Yeah.
like little things that don't necessarily just completely destroy your world building.
Yeah.
Like those little subtle touches, I think are much nicer than like it being like wazzy and in your face.
Yeah.
The exception to it being wazzy and in your face is that like if it's like a game like Dead by Daylight.
Yeah.
Where it's like it's a full horror game anyway,
So why not balls to the wall it even further? Yeah.
Yeah, why not just turn it up to 11? You might as well. And I don't actually know what Dead by Daylight do for the Halloween, but like I think they do something.
Yeah, so I think when we were playing, I think it was Burrito that was saying that they basically unlock every perk. So you've got access to like everything you wouldn't normally have, right?
Sure.
Because when I'm like level 1 in that game, or level 5 or something. When I loaded that up, I was like, I've got a lot more here than I used to have. Obviously, I didn't have any access to the DLC, but I had.
I was under the impression that was because that we were in a private lobby.
No
but to be
idea.
fair, if they did it in the main lobbies as well, sure.
Yeah. I don't know. That's what I think was said. But either way, like it's even if it's silly things like, I don't know, double XP for the spooky faction that's usually in a game, or the the edgelordy faction or whatever, like things like that. I think certainly done well. So I mean, like we've kind of spoken about like what's done right about them and what makes them good and all that sort of thing. Like, do you think they're necessary to have in the game? Do you think it's something that really enhances the game?
So I'm going to give you an answer that's basically from Dodgeball, which is it's not necessary to drink my own urine, but it's sterile and I like the taste. It's not necessary, but I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's kind of how I feel about that urine analogy. Is kind of how I feel about. That's a direct quote from Dodgeball, by the way. All the people going "ooh" in chat.
Yeah, just to confirm, SingularityJosh doesn't do that, as far as I'm aware.
Not into that. I'm good, thank you. But like, it's not necessary to do anything. But it's nice to have a little nod, especially as we move into games as a service, games that are always turned on, plugged in, Do you know what I mean? Like
Mm,
game worlds that you feel evolving as you play them. Like your experience to Sea of Thieves when you started playing to now, in terms of content available to you, is vastly different. And
yeah,
you kind of every time you log in, you feel the game changes. And I think for those kinds of games, and like World of Warcraft is another one as well, where like every year or every 2 years it gets its like next expansion,
yeah,
and the world grows and grows and grows and grows, and the politics and things and like the characters die and live and whatever else.
yeah,
It's important in those kinds of games, I think, to have them. Or not important, but like it's a nice touch to have them.
yeah,
They don't change your overall. It doesn't change your overall like playing of the game. But like you say, it's kind of fun to have that little acknowledgement of the seasons as you go through the year. Those little nods to being like, oh, we're in a similar place to you right now.
yeah,
You know,
yeah. No,
city's
absolutely.
haunted, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, just to go off what Kilt Cajun said in the chat. So ESO, so Elder Scrolls Online, under basic content for Halloween, but its purpose is to get people involved in the different aspects of the game, and receive old rewards that they may have missed. So I mean, I really like that sort of approach as well, especially with sort of getting old content that they've missed out on. And you, I mean, in terms of let's use Overwatch again. Um, Usually, those Halloween skins are only available at Halloween, right? And rightfully so, right? And obviously you get more and more each year and that sort of thing, and it's just exciting to know that you can, like, get that old content again and get access to it, which I think is nice and
Never
cool.
seen anybody so excited in all my life as Rob was by a bone dog the other day.
Oh my goodness, Sea of Thieves has got a bone dog, guys. It's got a bone dog, right? The dog is a skeleton dog, and I may have spent real money to buy it. I hate myself for it, because how many times on this fucking podcast have I said, don't buy microtransactions, don't buy season passes, and here I am. I'm sorry, I'm a hypocrite, but it's a skeleton dog.
It's also, to be fair, I think that point is also about the culture that you set for the game itself. Sea of Thieves does a lot of big updates for free.
Yep.
And so, like, I don't think it's particularly innocuous. Do you know what really pissed me off the other day? Sorry, completely off topic. I'll keep it short. So I got Game Pass, and I was like, I'm just gonna play something that's like completely brain dead. So I downloaded Forza. You know, like the motor racing game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I loaded into Forza, blah 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 blah, loading screen, etc. I had a 2 minute unstoppable ad trying to sell me the DLC that I didn't own.
God damn it.
Why? And like it's very very in your face in it's mega in your face in that game as well. Like so like yeah, that's it done badly. And then also
Trash.
yeah, but like yeah, like I really don't like all the Pirates of the Caribbean stuff was free, all the different voyages free, Mermaid Temple's free. Like I don't mind putting a little bit of money into that game because honestly I've had my 40 quid and more.
Yeah, fair. Fair. But yeah, like, as we were saying, yeah, just having sort of access to, content that's usually locked off as well, and like you said, like having those events that are, going on real world as well, whether it's Halloween events or Christmas events and that sort of thing. It kind of gets you in a little bit of the mood as well, which I think is quite nice. It always makes me feel a little bit, oh, that's cute. That's nice. That's really, I don't know. I enjoy them. I just think they're sweet. You're right. They're not necessary, but I think they're sweet and I think they're cute, and I enjoy them.
Yeah, I do as well for the most part. Like I say, I think it just depends on how like in your face it is.
Yeah.
But like, I do like the little nods in some games, and also like obviously if you're playing a horror game, they crank it up to 11. Brilliant. That's what I'm here for anyway. So
Yeah. That's what I signed up for. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
100%.
spooky season all the time. Yeah.
100%. Right. I mean, I think we're kind of like done, unless you want anything else to add, really.
Nah, buddy.
Yeah. So, I mean, sorry that wasn't like a massive topic, or probably a massively overly exciting topic, but it's something nice to talk about, and we've had a lot of heavy episodes over the last year or so, as well, which takes its toll. So we wanted to kind of talk about something a little bit fun and just joyful that happens in gaming, which I think Halloween events are one of those things personally.
Yeah.
So
It's also nice just to not come out here and talk about horrible things. It's nice to do like a nice little round table chat about what you like or what you don't like, rather
yeah,
than like a horrible thing has happened.
yeah,
And I think it's important to cover those horrible things,
yeah.
but like we've had a lot of them, and it is nice sometimes just to step back and just be like, here's a real easy,
Here's video games.
yeah, here's an easy sell.
Yeah. Right, so, well, thank you all very much for tuning in and watching. Josh, what do you do? Where can we find you?
Cool. I'm everywhere on the internet at SingularityJosh. I might start streaming again one day. Who knows? Maybe, maybe not. But for the meantime, you can find me over here. You can also find me. So on the 31st of October, depending on how quickly Rob gets this out, there's a very, very important event going on in Twitch that I'm hugely involved with. I've put like like
So much.
so many hours into this between myself and like 30 volunteers or something. It is Roll for Good. It is a charity initiative run by an EU community of a European community of TTRPG players. We had a big event in May. It went really, really well, and because it's Halloween, we're doing a spooky. All games are all spooky/spooky flavored. So if you like your Halloween event, Roll for Good has a Halloween event going on the 31st. We're raising money for Mind, the mental health charity again. Please come, please hang out. There's giveaways. You don't have to donate anything if you don't want to, but if you can, it's hugely appreciated. Like nothing is locked behind a paywall at Roll for Good. Um, so yeah, I know that me and all of the other coordinators and like team leads would really, really appreciate it, because this one has been a very short turnaround. It's been a lot of hard work in a very short period of time. Um, yeah, that's my plug. Roll for Good. Go hang out at Roll for Good.
Yeah, please go and do that.
Oh, actually, sorry. While we're on Roll for Good, I'm doing an Instagram takeover for Roll for Good's Instagram account on Friday at 5:30 for an hour. I'm doing an AMA. So if you come and follow, I think it's Roll for Good EU on Instagram. Let me double check before I say it wrong. Yep, Roll for Good EU. Spell it all one word and then add EU on the end. So come and ask me questions on Friday.
Definitely go and do that, and definitely go and support Roll for Good. Like Josh said, it's for a fantastic charity, Mind, and it's a fantastic event as well. So please go and support it. I know that Josh and everyone who's worked on that have worked really fucking hard to try and make that a thing. So please go and support. As for me, you can find me all over the internet at the Undead Gamer, gamer without the E, of course, and that's Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and of course on twitch.tv/the Undead Gamer, where we stream as often as we can. At the moment, we're still playing, of course, Sea of Thieves, which has just become a channel staple at this point. We're playing Alien Isolation as well. We've got some community games going as well, which will probably continue on with into like next month and the month after, and we'll see what we come out with then. Whether that's some more spooky games or maybe things like Among Us or anything like that. Which so stay tuned for that. And if you obviously want to get involved, come along and get involved by all means. Trying to think what else we've got to plug. Catch us on Friday. At twitch.tv/KiltedCajunRPG, where myself and Josh play a live D&D. Actual play. Fuck, that's the word. God damn. An actual play of Dungeons and Dragons, Tomb of Annihilation, every Friday at 7 p.m. UK time. So come along for that. Thank you so much for tuning in, watching, listening, however you're enjoying this podcast. Of course, if you missed the live show, don't worry, the VOD will be going up on YouTube. I'll try and get all this up as early as possible to coincide with promoting Roll for Good as well. So you can find the VOD on the YouTube channel, of course. And of course, if you'd rather listen to the podcast, you can listen to it for free on all the podcasting platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Amazon Music, all places where you can find good podcasts. So go check that out. Also, last week we released a bonus episode where myself, SingularityJosh, and the Kilted Cajun were talking about Sea of Thieves, and only Sea of Thieves. So if you want to hear us ramble on about how good Sea of Thieves is and why you should probably play it, then go listen to that bonus level of the podcast, which is only available in audio form. So only available on Spotify and all the places where you find podcasts. So
It's a fun episode. I like that episode.
yeah, absolutely. It was really good fun. Obviously, the next episode of the podcast, the live show, you can find next month on Tuesday, the 23rd of November. Stay tuned for that. And maybe we'll try and sort out another bonus episode before then, hopefully, if we can. Not sure about what, but
we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll do our best. We'll do our best. But until then, thank you very much for tuning in, listening, watching, however you're consuming this podcast. And we'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.